And men, also be considerate. Not all the time fast pounding, because fast pounding does not equate to pleasure. Okay? Sometimes slow is sweeter. Sometimes some women just love it slow. Except she tells you, okay, papi, go faster. That's when you go faster. Okay? Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Jane Lawrence and I come with a lot of juicy content. Now, on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about what to do when doggy style gets pretty much uncomfortable. Yes, that's what we're doing today. That's what we're talking about today. Of course, doggy style is arguably the most popular sex position amongst all species, all right? Because of the fact that it requires little to no flexibility, and it's just an easy position for most people to get into. Some people like doggy style because it allows for, deeper penetration, but honestly, that's not always good for most women, just because it can sometimes lead to painful intercourse. Now, there are a few reasons why doggy style in particular might not really feel so great for some women. And once you can figure out what's going on, it's easy to adjust and feel a lot better when you're doing doggy style. Ultimately, sex should feel good, right? And if it doesn't, it's worth your while to figure out why. For example, if you're in a doggy position and it feels like something isn't right, it probably is not all in your head. Something is actually not right. And I think that you should stop and figure out what the problem is. Listen, when you are on your hands and knees in doggy style position, your pelvis tilts in a way that truncates the length of your juicy part. It probably makes it shorter depending on where your cervix is. And your partner has almost control of the speed and depth. So their joystick or the object that they're using could be bottoming out inside of you and smashing against your cervix. And as you can imagine, that can cause intense, painful pressure on your cervix. Again, the thing about doggy style is that your partner really has control of how deeply they penetrate you, and the intensity for them to go very deep in this position is very high. So they may want to pound or thrust intensely from behind, and if you have some sort of sensitivity at the cervix, this can promote more discomfort, or it might just hurt having a pounding intruder heading rigorously towards the cervix. For men, if you find yourself or you find your woman in this particular situation, I suggest that you try to make movement slow and deliberate instead of pounding the joystick in and out without mercy. Sometimes, a speed adjustment is all it takes to make it feel a lot better for your woman, and it really depends on the woman's anatomy. Remember, we're not all internally alike. We're not all internally the same. Some women have their cervix closer up to the opening of their vagina, and others just have it deep. Now, another thing that you should consider as a woman is that holding yourself up in tabletop position, which is actually the position for doggy style, especially when you're not arching your back, it sort of requires some body strength. So your juicy part isn't actually relaxed. It's not actually in a relaxed state. Sometimes you might just involuntarily just tighten your coochie, whereas lying on your back and just being penetrated from above by your man actually allows you to be in a relaxed state, even though you're tense and turned on. But it's different when you're in a doggy style. It's a little harder to relax your juicy part when you're in that position. For some people, adjusting the height of your elbow or just adding cushions underneath your joint or your hip or your belly can help reduce some of the pressure or the pain that you might feel. But it's also okay if doggy style is just not the ideal position for you and your partner. And so if you want to experience penetration from behind, there are other less intense positions that you could try, such as spooning, all right, or laying completely flat on the bed with your tummy on the bed, all right? You could also play downward doggy style and have your partner stand and penetrate you from behind. This is what I mean. Try doggy style lying flat on your stomach rather than on your knees. It makes the depth of penetration shallower. Then you could lie down on the bed, rest your hands under your chin, or you could just lay in the baby cobra position. You can also have a pillow under your hips to take the pressure off your lower back if that's an issue for you. Then keep your legs closed. Keep your legs closed while you lay down. In fact, you could squeeze your legs together once you're in that position, or once you figure out that position, and then have your partner lie on top of you. Let him enter from behind. This will invariably mean a lot of friction and tightness around your partner's joystick as it passes through your thighs, and it will also mean shallow entry too into the juicy part, which I think he would love more. Don't forget to lubricate your thighs way to your juicy part, because you don't want him getting sore trying to get into that tight spot that you've created. That said and done, don't feel like you have to get acrobatic to make this work. You just need to know what comfortable stance to take when in a doggy style, and communicate to your partner what speed and depth feels right for you or wrong for you. Don't just sit there and you're bearing the pain, except you also have this weird way of enjoying pain and pleasure, then that's fine. Well, if you've tried all of that and it still hurts, or you're bleeding, then you will need to mention it to your gynecologist, because that's abnormal, so that you make sure that you don't have any underlying condition that's causing pain, like endometriosis or a vagina infection. Then try to take the focus off penetration. All right, slow things down and focus on exploring each other's bodies and having a deeper connection throughout the pleasure. Now, this is for the men especially. Please take the focus off penetration and fast pounding activities, and just focus more on foreplay. Foreplay is an important part of sex, and it starts long before you even get into the bedroom, and it's well worth the effort if you start well before, hours before you even get into the bedroom. Because if she's not well lubricated, it shows that the oven is not yet ready for you, and you need to spend more time on foreplay till she's dripping hot for you. There is no doubt about the fact that pain with sex is common, but it is not something that you have to put up with as a woman. Sometimes your favorite position is just not working for you. Even if your partner loves that position, you do not have to do it. That just goes double if it hurts. So talk to your partner and explore other options. You may just find new positions or new activities that you possibly really like. You don't have to put up with pain if it's so painful. Sex should never hurt, and if it does, it's important that you communicate with your partner. Communication is very important in a relationship, and it's vital for consent. Also, research has shown that partners who effectively communicate with one another during sex have satisfying sex lives together. So if you don't communicate and you choose to suffer through pain, you may just end up enlisting coping mechanisms such as avoiding intimacy, or being resentful of your partner and hugging a heat pack, hiding in the toilet, hugging, pressing that area with heat packs because it hurts. All right, so learn to communicate. If it's hurting you, find out why it's hurting you, change the position, or do a different kind of variation like the ones that I have just told you about. Do a different kind of variation and see if it's a lot better. And men, also be considerate. Not all the time fast pounding, because fast pounding does not equate to pleasure. Okay, sometimes slow is sweeter. Sometimes some women just love it slow, except she tells you, okay, papi, go faster. That's when you go faster. Okay. All right, then, thank you so much for watching. Don't you forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified whenever I post a video. Be right back.